Gracias. Bueno, entonces, muchas gracias por invitarme a este seminario. No sé si lo hacemos en inglés o en español, ¿qué es estilo?
Aquí no estamos bien positivos.
Inglés. ¿Hacemos en inglés? Okay, so thank you for inviting me to this presentation. I'm going to talk about this research that we did with Arturo Arguelles, who's previously at the National University, now he's working at the Universidad del Valle, Professor Juan David Garcia, who's professor at the School of Medicine of the National University, and me, I'm Gabriel. You can find me here at this is my email at the school, and sometimes I post at Mastodon. So these are the faces of the people I just talked about. I want to start by showing you what's our goal, what do we aim to model. So, as you know, then Transmilenio is the system of public transport of Bogota, and there has been several studies of the system, but we want to focus on ridership prediction. So we want to focus on the ridership, and ridership is forecasting of the systems and the reliability. This is usually done with data that is collected within those systems, that is AFC, automatic fare collection. So the idea is that when you get into the system, you tap in, and in many systems, you have to tap out. So to exit the system, you have to also tap out with the same card. So then you have both registers at the entry point and at the exit point. AFC does not record transits between the systems. So when you change a line, so for instance, to come here, if you come from Suba, then you probably have to take 2 or 3 lines within the system. This is usually not recorded in AFC. Transmilenio only records AFC at the entry. So, as you know, you only tap in, you don't tap out. So then this is a problem, because then you don't have the information to give the origin destination matrices. In transportation, all the matrices is just that, no? So you have the entry point and the exit point, and this allows you to do some calculations, predictions, even in the aggregate or in the individual situation. In Bogota, we have some data for this. This comes out of the encuesta de movilidad, but this is, as it says, is a sample. So it may not be completely predictable of all the or representative of every single trip, because yes, it's just a sample. The trips of Transmilenio within the encuesta movilidad has more data, so even the trips of Transmilenio are small. So what do we have? Like we, the society, we have AFC open data with timestamps and card identifiers. So you can with this you can simply identify a single card, not user, but usually it's user. No, I have my card, you have your card. So usually people don't share those. We have route schedules. I put an interrogation mark there because this data is not so clean. So we have to clean some of this information. Some of this information is in the form of just press releases. So Transmilenio says the route change, and then that's it. So it's not so well written out. So this is what we have. We want to obtain the estimation of users in each bus and on every bus and on every station during the day. So we want to say the bus that left started the route K16 at 5 a.m. or 10 a.m. How many passengers did it have during the whole trip? That's what we want. So we have the elements of our model. The first element of the model is the passenger OD identification. So you will say, if we don't have the exit, how do we know where this passenger went? So we have this data, and with the data, we can identify by cards, and here we have three sets. So we have some cards that are used twice. So I don't know if I use my card to go to my main activity, let's say leisure, or I go to the swimming pool every day. So then I go and then I go back, or I go to work every day. So then I go back. So then I have two validations. So it is likely that my second validation corresponds to my destination of the first trip, and the reverse. When I do the second validation, then probably I will go back to the first place. Yeah? So I started at SUA, I tap in SUA, then I tap out in Universidades, then probably I went from SUA to Universidades, and then at the night I came back. So this is the yellow. You can see that the histogram shows a peak around 6 a.m. So probably this is working or people who work or study. So they need to get up early and then tap in very early. And then there is another one at 16, 17. So this is people coming out of the office or of the school. So then this gives you an idea, and with this we say, okay, if a person has two validations, then we will assign this second trip as such. Here you have the, for instance, this is a snapshot. Are you gonna? So this is a snapshot at 4 a.m. of the validation. So the size of the dot indicates how many validations are there. So you can see that at 5 a.m. Most of the validations are at the endpoints of the lines. And this would be later on at 8. No? So this is much more spread, but then you have also validations mostly on the city center. And so this gives an idea that what we are doing probably is in the right direction. So with that, we create the OD matrix, and but this is a snapshot of the system. Okay, this we came out by ourselves, but then we read the literature and someone had done it. So, so this is explaining this. So this is the first element. The second element is called a network model. So we have a bipartite graph model, B or bi, I don't know how to bipartite graph model. In this we have the stations and bus routes. So the stations are the circles, and then the routes are the squares. And here you see, for instance, this is a bus that starts here and then goes in this route. And then, for instance, this is another line of bus. And then there are some stations which link these two graphs. You have them both. This is needed because, as any Transmilenio user knows, and if you need to go long distances, then you have several paths. So how do you choose which route you take? Even if you want to change lines, then this is a complex problem. So we start with this model of the stations, this network model of the stations. Then we have the scheduling information of the routes, because as you know, it's not fixed. There are some routes that only work in the morning. There are some routes that only work in the evenings. then the waiting time between each line, it changes for some routes. So we have this scheduling information. And with this, Juan David used the Gistra shortest path, and he run this for time. So they optimize by time. So the idea is that we have the shortest path in time for the user. Obviously, this is a little bit like an economist argument that you can, if you can take the best route, you take it. So it assumes that you can sample the whole space of routes, or you have the full information, which sometimes is not. No? You still find out, oh, I've been taking this route like all the year, and then now we found out one which is better. And Google didn't tell me that this was better, but we still use this. And we did not allow for route changes, like when you said, when I used to use the system years ago, then sometimes I had. So when I used to have them, you could change routes. So for instance, say you go to A to B. Then sometimes I say, okay, there are two paths that I can take through the system, and sometimes like I try to run from so change in the middle, and then you have to run within the vagones, it's called in the stations. But here we do not allow this. So if the user decides path, she takes it. And she doesn't change. So I was saying that the first element of the model is the OD matrix. We have this histogram of validations. So we take the yellows are the ones that have two validations, the cards that have two validations. The first validation, and the blue is the histogram of those same that have two validations, the second validation. So we assign the second station, so the destination as the second validation of the card that had the first validation, because we don't have typeouts, and we do the opposite, the reverse for the trip back home. That's what we do. And here I was showing this is the network model. So we have a network, two kind of nodes, one for the buses and one for the stations. So then it's a little bit, it's a mixed network in which you can, the users have to switch between those two kind of nodes. And I was saying that we apply when I apply the Gistra shortest path to find the path from origin to destination for each. I don't know. There are some questions.
What are the green those?
So squares are bus lines, and circles are stations, and the colors is simply to define two different routes. So the say K line and the W line or whatever in the system. Different is line of buses like the B line and the A line different. Yes. Okay, so so the third element consists on the passenger flow. So how do we do the passenger flow? So we have the network structure of the system, what we had in the previous slide. We have the user agent with the origin destination and some parameters. First parameter is time of entry. So we know at what time did this user started. And then the position within the system. So this is the variables. And as parameters, we have the time start of the route, the speed of the bus. We chose at this point we do not have a detailed model for the buses. We just choose rely someone likely speed for the buses, and then we say the bus moves at this speed. Yeah, one improvement or calibration that could be done is to include a model for the transit of the buses, because for instance, the Caracas, there can be traffic in the Caracas of Transmilenio buses, no? So in this system we don't have that. So how do we run the system? So we start the system, then we read the static data, we generate the buses and the routes, and we can use the ridership data, the validation data published by Transmilenio of any single day, well, within a time frame. So we can read that data. We generate the users, and then this is the main loop. So while the system is still running, the simulation is run as a discrete element or discrete element method in which the events are the arrival of the buses to the station. So nothing happens until the clock starts ticking, and the first event that happens is the first bus that arrives to one station. And then we jump the simulation until the next bus arrives to the station, and so forth. So the first bus arrives to station. Then I'm going to show you these two routines. One is update the users within the bus, so the user may leave the bus or continue the bus, and then update the users within the station, so the users may try to get into the bus. Then we write out data and continue with this loop until the end of the day. So this is run through a single day. So how do we update the users within the bus? This happens when the bus arrives to the station. So we select each user within the bus. Then if the user leaves the bus, then we move it out of the bus. But then we have to find out if this user ended this trip or changed lines. So if ends the trip, then we just erase it from the system. Don't care about him anymore or her anymore. Then we update. If not, then we update the user. So the user is in the station, and then she wants to take another route, and then we select the next user. So we continue with this, and then this happens when the bus arrives to the station. So this is fairly simple. With the users within the station is a little bit more complicated. So after that, we check every user within the station. Then we look at the bus and see if this is the bus that she wanted to take. So if this is the bus that she wanted to take, then we queue the user so she stays in line to get into the bus. Because as you know, one thing is that the bus arrives, another different thing is that you can get on it. So we queue it, and then we continue this process. On the other route, we have the users in queue. Then, if there is space in the bus, then we let her in. But it's possible that it cannot get in. Then okay, this should be here. So this continues until the bus is full, and then at the end of the route, ends this. So what do we get with this model? We get microstates that will be the particular number of users at every time, at every bus, and at every station. Obviously, what we would like, or the city would like to get, is aggregates. So how many people are on each bus, how many people are on this route, on each route. So we, with this micro, we aggregate to these variables, and the information that we get is something similar to this. So this is, for instance, the average occupation, the 17th of May of 2020. So in the middle of the worst no, the pandemic.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say the worst, but at least the lower point of traffic in the system, on the city. So when cities were really close. So May, Bogota was down like 70% on mobility, like every indication. So at that point, our mayor says, I guarantee you that the occupation of the buses is not over 30%. And she was right. So this is a histogram of the buses, and in the horizontal line, then you have the average occupation of the bus. So you can see that most buses had average occupation well below 30%. So she was right on that. And compared with 1st of December of 2020. So obviously the numbers are lower because it's more spread out. No? But then you have average buses with occupation of 60 and so on and so on. So this is something that can be done or is done right now. Now this will be for a single line. So for instance, the the Portal Suba, this is in the horizontal axis. We have the departure time of the bus, and so this each cross represents one bus that was sent in this route. So the average will be the red dot, and the maximum will be the cross. No? So because the average doesn't tell you the whole story as we know. So this is also for 17th of May of 2020. So you can see that here also the bus occupancy for this route was below 20%. And the same for 1st of December of 2020. So here you see much more spread, no? It's important to note that this route, so it isn't, here you cannot see the peaks that we saw in the other histogram. So it's not like this route has a peak at 5 a.m. and a peak, no, because it's more spread out, no? Although maybe there are the maximum is consistent with the early hours. This is mostly what we have so far. Obviously, is the most important part of this is what can be done starting from this. So you could now run several different things, like for instance, try to improve the system. Then you have to select what do you aim to optimize for, no? So optimize for speed, optimize for comfort, optimize for money. What do you want to do? But then this allows you to do that. Okay, I didn't read what I was saying. So this one, this open data provides something that I think is not usually done in transport, is bridge the gap between the statistical samples and the time calculation. What I should say at the beginning, with the mobility of Bogota, we do not have the encuesta movilidad does not have, it's just a sample. So with this, you could really bridge that gap and then have a more detailed calculation. This problem, we found it very interesting, in which it is involves intersection between simulation, network science, and data science. As I was saying right now, it allows to calculate better routes, better schedules. We have a preprint of this in this link. We sent it to a journal, and it was said that the presentation that we did was too close to like a business analysis of terminology. So we didn't use this scientific jargon enough. So maybe we were too dumb. And also, you will not find a single equation in this article yet. So one that has to put one of two of the Dijkstra algorithm. So it yeah, maybe has better chances to be published in the literature of transport. But this is just the validations that I show as not a couple of instances.
I got an English. So let's start. What is the Dijkstra algorithm? I know that this movie is a very common thing, but I don't know how it is.
I don't remember.
And what is the most algorithm? It's for what?
So it's an algorithm in data science. I think it's related to queues and this, so to account for the here we use it. Okay, I don't know in general what it is, but I know what do we use it for. So that I can. So the idea is that you have you want to go from say from this station to this station. So then you have several different routes that you can take. So the goal that we want is how to choose the best one. So you could go through order. You could order all of them and go through all of them one by one and check the time. But the Dijkstra algorithm provides a way to do that efficiently. So to get to optimize in here we optimize by time. So to get the one that has the shortest time, but then during the calculation, that's it efficient.
Which times do you consider? Which times do you consider? So do you consider the time, the mean time for one bus from one station to the other, the waiting time at the stations?
See, yes.
And how do you model that? Are they fixed data or are they produced by let's say a Poisson distribution?
So within the so to calculate the Dijkstra or in the simulation? So to calculate the Dijkstra is like we actually do we calculate actually at the distance and then they calculate the time, just as physics 101. And then the expected add an expected waiting time if you have to change lines. So that's what I will do. If I want to go from here to Suva, then I say, okay, I have to take 2-3 routes, then probably I take that much time from this, that much time, and that much time in the waiting time in the station. That's what we do for the planning. To run the system, we assign when we generate the buses, we assign random time a time from a Poisson distribution to the bus, which will translate to a mean of 15 kilometers per hour. So something like what will be the mean speed of the bus in the system. So some buses go at 15, some buses go at 20, some buses go at 10. Just randomly. So we don't have a traffic model for the buses.
But a random
for the speeds, yes.
Okay. And this is executed once for everyone, or the execution starts with a bus, and the bus starts at the initial station, and it moves with some speed to the second one, and then it changes the speed.
No. So far, it's just we decide that you're going to go this.
Okay. The buses are starting every 3 minutes or something.
We use the schedules of Reunio. Okay. So Reunio has published schedules for the routes, but that information is a little bit shady. So some of it is not clear. What I was saying. For instance, I had a class last week and a student arrived late. And I say, why, Alejandra, why did you arrive late? And she said, Transmilenio just changed the frequency of the bus. So we had a snapshot of the system at one point, like 1 year ago, and that's what we have. If you want to run it with the data of today, for instance, you will have to check if we have all the lines and to check if the schedules are still up to date. That because maybe there are new ones to change.
Another question. Is that okay, here you have the information of mostly of the people that have an assigned car, no? A car with a name. And they want to start in one point and in the morning and start in another point. What about the other people? Which more information? What more information do you have?
Those will be the yellow ones and the blue ones. The green ones corresponds to, so every car has a number, even though it's not personalized. Okay. So every car has a single identifier. Okay. So the green ones are the single validation. Okay. And you can see that they more or less follow the same pattern. So it's a bimodal distribution with a peak at 5 a.m. and another peak at 6, 10 p.m. So we took those and we assigned them the destination according to the statistics of the other group. Okay. So we took that distribution and say, okay, if you get in the station, then those have a proclivity to go to this, and randomly assign that as your end destination with those weights.
You are simulating the whole
system. Well, the troncal.
Which one?
So troncal is buses rojos, the red ones. So not the green or the yellow. Or
yes.
Not the.
Yes, all red buses.
Yeah. The red, the two, not the SSF, well, but the Transmilenio is also SSF. Only the red ones. The componente troncales.
So all monoarticulated single versions that are here. When a station has a lot of people waiting for the same bus, how do you assign? How do you choose which people are going in that bus?
We order them by the tap in.
Okay.
So each card has the time, the time each tap in. That's the order.
So first input, first out. So the first guy arriving to the station and intending to take this bus will be the first guy taking this bus from the other.
Yep.
So I think that one issue we can collaborate is to join this model to the models that was developed by one person to simulate the bus, and then you will have the delays. No? Because you start very ordered, and at the end you finish very random. one of the results was that even if you start, let's say you have only easy tracks, so the buses that are stopping on every station, yes, and you start sending a bus every 2 minutes. At the end, the delay times can be as larger as 9 minutes. Because
but that's because of traffic or what do you?
Yes.
You don't have users.
no, we don't have users. We only have buses. But this is because the following. One bus arrives to one station, and then the next bus wants to arrive also to the same point. And then it has to wait for this bus to be. Yeah. And only that, yeah, makes the system to disorder.
Okay, and does it so you have the whole city or just
No, we only have a single line.
a theoretical simplane or
No, real one. No, I was simulated cell by cell from government. Yeah, from so the 26 street route from the airport to downtown.
how do you do the intersection? So, for instance, here there is a 26 with the 24, 30.
Anyways,
That's terrible. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Bus goes like this, like this, like this.
We don't have the traffic lights, it is equal to include. No? Because it's just put a stop here, a stop there, and that's all. No? And the buses are running with almost algorithm, but with the parameters for that bus, so for the single articulated and here articulated. And yeah. And just because of that, now they disorder. So the average time is the average waiting time is 53 minutes. But sometimes you don't wait anything because 2 or 3 buses come together, and then you have to wait a lot. No? It's and we don't have people. We will have people. We will see that phenomenon emphasized because when a bus arrives and all the people can to go in that bus, the next one will have fewer people and then you will have a fewer waiting time. So and then the new buses will be together. And this is the reason why this adds to the and then they start problem. Yes. And this is very easy to solve. No? The only thing you need is to have a GPS on each bus, and saying the driver, please slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah.
But then the problem is to do it automatically because you have to have a monkey.
Yeah.
So it will be go back to the busetas in which you have the driver and then the helper who will say.
Yes, the GPS.
Yeah, but someone has to call you and tell you.
No, but you can read it.
So you just see the next.
Yes, even you can have a tablet, no, and say you have to be here, and now you are here, and you suppose that you will be ahead or before, no, and then you should speed up or slow down and try to catch.
So dynamically,
Yes.
in respect to the others. That would
Yes.
be.
No, and not only respect to the others, in respect also to the brand. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess this is the difference with the buses in, let's say, in Germany or France. It goes 11:28, and if you arrive 11:29, you are
That's different.
positive that you lost the bus. No?
Well, one path that I can think of thinking that this is maybe if we can find let's say, external parameters. So for instance, today is sunny and it's a Thursday. So maybe that has a fingerprint of the user. So if we could maybe we could just switch from one schedule to a different one just like that. So the person who's on top of the scheduling can say, okay, today we are going to switch to 259 and not 3 because we know that that second of difference is needed today and not, yeah, if it's raining, then, well, for instance, today maybe many people go in by motorcycle because it's sunny or bicycle. Yes, if it's raining, probably it will be different.
What if, let's say, we can simulate the 80s to say only the 26 are not done. No? Okay. One is not with us anymore, no? He's in Chicago. But, uh, but we can, as student reproduce the goal is well described and the looking is to put it but only for that time. No? And you are simulating the whole city, so you know which people are going where and which people are using that and then we can simulate what we got. Yeah, it's how much time they wait for the in the stations and really how many time they used to go from A to B and from A to B and whatever. No? We not just simulated the movement on the street, but also the approaching protocol, no? And the leading protocol. And and this protocol is the one that causes the interactions that these other things. And then it will be completely realistic. And,
Yeah.
then you will see if, how the things change, no? For instance, maybe how the bosses are changed, no? How the waiting times change, how the people, how the time, even the system change for the world travel, and also how the stations are crowded.
Yeah, that is not calculated yet, but it could be. Yeah, just to say.
Yes, how many people are in the station, how many people are in there. Yes. And what will happen if you only have incidents? Did you try to simulate only with incidents?
No, we have the schedule, but it's just simple because it's a file with the schedule and the line. So it will be.
What about if you do the following? Well, as suggested, that you can easily implement. This is you have your own matrix and all the people taking this matrix. And you have the actual transmission. Now let's change all the expresso lines to easy lines. So they and see what happens with the distribution of times, yeah,
Okay.
of the people in the system. Yes. How do they change? No? They will be better, they will be worse. No, that will be interesting. And I will just lose it. If the bus is full, nobody can get in. Yeah? Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a little bit
Yes, you know.
like rule of thumb, because Transmilenio says the bus has a capacity of 200 whatever, but then it's overcrowded. No?
Yes.
You see the buses, they are way above that. No?
Yes, I know, but there's someone that is normal.
Yeah, for that, I don't know if we will need to. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, we saw that right? And we saw also that if you only have single lines, you will arrive faster. No, not because you are traveling faster, of course you are traveling slower, but because you don't waste so much time waiting for. No? Because what people usually do is, or I don't know if they usually do that. It was for us, it was just an hypothesis. My hypothesis is that people arriving to the station where an express line arrives will take this station. And people arriving to a station where there are no expressos, we wait for the easy line and take that line only for to the first station where the espresso comes and take the espresso. And this behavior makes the people wasting time waiting for the espresso. And this time is larger than the time they spend by taking espresso. So people tend to follow that without the deep, so our results are not real. But but with your model, you will have that part. There's no. And the distractions for us as real, are real, are not the people. Yeah, I think we have the other the other way around. Exactly.
Yeah, Professor William has some questions, so I'm going to first them. First, for a given set of origin and destination points, is it possible to give away to different paths with an increasing penalty for paths with more route changes to only use the shortest one in time?
So we optimize by time. So in a sense, we are doing that. So in the Digistra algorithm, we optimize by time. So for instance, yeah, go from I don't know here to here, and we take the one that takes theoretically the shortest time. So we to decide which one the user takes, we are doing that. So if she has to change 5 times, then that adds time. So
how performant is the model? Can it be used for real-time feedback regarding the VRT operation?
yeah, it runs. I don't remember some minutes. So it's not hours. It's not it's not days. So this is lower than the real day.
Are you able to compute hourly occupation data and to react to peak valley hours?
I am able to calculate instantaneous occupation. So yes, so there is information of where everyone is at each second. Okay, I do not record it. I record it only on the events. So when the bus arrives to the station, because otherwise it would be stupid to record.
Okay, and last one. Do you know how Transmillennium plan were changed? Do they use models like this one?
I do not know, but this is I think that certainly must have some way to calculate the average occupation. I don't know if they have a survey or if they have a model, but like Adesa said that it was less than 30%, and it is less than 30%. So somehow they could do this. I don't know if they use the model or for a survey, or they have a camera on each station or on each bus or whatever. I don't know. But obviously, if someone from Transmilenio is seeing this, it's also for sale.
I have a question. Now, there is a maximum amount of people that can be in the bus, right? So there are buses with 3 parts and there are buses with 2 parts. Do you have that distinction between, let's say, the G30 line usually has 3 parts, and the easy routes usually have just 2 buses with 2 parts. Do you have that distinction in the model?
I think we did it. I'm not completely sure, but it's simple to do it. So it can be done. I don't recall if we specifically. Okay, we had 2 types of buses, and I think we made the decision between the ones with 3 and the one with 2. I think we did not calculate the one that is just K86, the one that is just one. I don't remember if you have one, but it's easy to, because the bus is an object, so you just change the number of it's a parameter, you just change the capacity.
And one more from Professor William. Another one. Sometimes they say that the colados are the culprit of the bad service. Can you include colados and check their impact?
We will have to make them up. I don't know. Then I think we don't have that data because we only have the card data. How to include the los colados, the people who do not have who run without paying.
It's very easy. Okay, the first thing to do that is to assume that it's uniform, and then you know that it's more or less 20%. So just increase the numbers.
Yeah, but I will say that from data, if someone would like, for instance, if I would ask you, you would say, no, we have to measure it. We have to have some data. We have to see. Because uniform distribution, then you know.
We know it's 20%. But first thing is assume that it's uniform. And then you want to distribute that by places.
I think there are some stations that are problems. Like 45 for Caracas was a huge problem with people that were getting in there.
Okay.
And they installed like some barrier now and it's bad. But
Yeah.
I think there's like hotspots so people can easily enter the system.
I think that's also an opportunity, but I don't know if it's from us. So we are using low hanging fruit. That is, we are using the data that is available. But that could be a place for some other people to gather that data. It will be easy to, for instance, put cameras and then check like image processing. You could check. But that's a different program than the one that we have. But as Jose Daniel says, yes, if you say, okay, it's 20%, then we just put them in the same fashion that the ones that have one. We could say they have a distribution of like this, or the time we could say, okay, they should probably enter the system at the same time that the rest of the people enter the system.
Have you considered, because there are lots of people that are to work without day. So maybe like people that tap in the morning and they spend the whole day in the system like working. They go out maybe at the same day. So maybe like this some of the people that are the first peak that only tap once.
They probably they stay in the system.
That's also
a question.
I think that the Secretary of Transportation has the data of the rough amount of people that do not pay for the service, and you can request that information with a petition. So if you ever wanted to add that to the study, I think it's possible to just ask them for that information, and they have to give it to you.
and also since it runs so fast, you can also use it as a toy model to kind of say like, okay, what happens if it's 10% that is colado, what happens if it's 20%, 30%? When you're in the system colado, how much colados can we afford to have without these problems?
Yes.
This origin destination matrix is also a result of your research, or is given as a material?
No, the origin, it's a result of this.
Okay, because these results alone is also very interesting. It will be interesting to know if you can come in this, or if you can reproduce the data from the social survey. No? So the social survey will distinguish by two aspects. Yes, that is the only investigation matrix, but also the you in the moment. The user related or not. So if you repeat the user related, yeah, and but hours and so perhaps you can compare directly, with that and see if your data reproduce the only you obtain coincides with the
Yeah, because theirs has to be well done. Also, it's a good it's a statistic that it has strong statistics behind it. Probably well. Well, thank you very much.
No, yeah.
Thank you.
Muy bonito trabajo. Podríamos hacer estas cosas juntos. Ah, ¿qué chicos es donde aquí de la
No, el chico, no hay chico, son tres profesores.